guys.
So today we're doing our first in-person interview
With Mike. Blockbillion.
Blockbillion.
Hi.
Public memory.
Public memory too.
We know it all. See?
Wow, do your research.
So we want to know a little bit about what you do with public memory.
Yeah, like how I got into that thing. I was in this band many years ago called APSE, A-P-S-E. And it was a friend of mine, Rob, and I, and a couple other guys. And we put out a couple records, this and that. Rob and I had been playing together since we were 18 or so. Fast forward, that band broke up, and then, I went off and did my own thing. Fast forward to the pandemic. He had this project called Public Memory that is 2 iterations after APSE. So he had Eras, this other band with a guy, Austin. Then he had Public Memory, and he had tried out different live bands, and some of them worked, some of them didn't. He kind of had some success. And he was putting out his new record, and we were talking on the phone. We hadn't touched base in a long time, and he was looking for a live band. And I said, well, if you need help,
I'm here.
I'm here. And he said, are you serious? And I said, yes, I'm serious. So then we spent a year building a live show, taking all his old songs and kind of picking them apart, disassembling them, or using the original tracks or whatever. So now it's just the 2 of us, and the setup is 2 synthesizer stations and then live drums in the middle. And both of us sing.
Oh, nice.
And it's pretty fun.
We saw you were touring in Europe. How was that?
It was really good. Yeah, Poland is crazy.
Was that your favorite?
Yeah, I think Poland was my favorite, probably.
Was that your favorite crowd? Or?
Yeah, Poland and Paris. Those were the 2 really fun ones.
Are they hyped there? Or?
France, yeah.
France.
Paris was crazy.
I wouldn't think that.
Really? No, French people are cuckoo banana.
Really?
It was fun. And then we also played a place in Bologna called Tank. And it's the first all-women run venue in Italy.
Oh,
and they do some amazing programming about like gender studies and LGBTQ and all this kind of stuff, and they're super supportive. And the sound there was great. Yeah, they were lovely. Shout out Tank.
Nice,
They were great.
Nice. So we know you have this project called Blockbillion. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So I had stopped playing music. After APSE, I was in this 4-part folk group, like harmonies and that kind of stuff. And then I kind of took a break, didn't know what I was doing, traveled around a lot, got into ceramics. And then over the pandemic, because ceramics kind of went a little squirrely, I decided I'm going to try doing music again. So I kind of messed around with it a little bit, put together a bunch of songs, and my friend Aaron had come over, and he's a sound engineer. And I said, well, can you help me make these sound better? So then we worked on it for a year, and I recorded at home, and we did it at this other studio called Ground Control. It's in Williamsburg. That's amazing. And the pandemic was happening, so we got all the studio time for free, or not free, but very, very cheap. We put it out, and it was cool. And now we're starting conversation with the label in Belgium to put it out, like actual fish, which is going to be great. So I have to take it down and then put it all up. So now we're doing contracts and album artwork and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, got you.
And then now we're working on the second record. So we're maybe 4 months out from that being finished. So we'll put out the first one and then wait a little bit and put out the second one. And then try to put together a live band and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just me writing and playing.
Just doing your own thing.
Yeah. It's fun. It started off as I'm just going to do this thing because I like to do it. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it stays that way,
And that's why you enjoy doing it more than other things, because you're doing it like it's your own thing.
Yeah. And the collaboration comes on making the sounds sound well and not necessarily structural or writing or instrumentation. But it's more so Aaron helps me figure out where the sounds exist in space in the mix. Rather than you should make it sound like this or you should make it sound like that. Which is great with Public Memory because I could be that little voice on Rob's shoulder when we're playing. What about this? So it's kind of nice to get both sides of it.
Nice.
Which is great. Yeah.
Are you excited to eventually play that kind of music live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
I would love to listen to the album
Yeah.
live.
No, because we were talking about that earlier. Because we really loved the first album a lot. Like we were listening to
thanks.
it all morning
Yeah.
too. We were like, this is so good.
Thank
We
you,
want
thank
more
you.
people to hear it. It's so
Yeah,
good.
we need it out there. Please stream it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It will go off.
We'll see.
When it comes
you
back.
know. Yeah, yeah.
We want to know a little bit about the ceramics though that you were working on too.
Oh, yeah, sure. How did that happen?
Out of nowhere. You just
Yeah.
let's do ceramics.
Yeah, kind of. Like, so I was traveling around. I kind of lost my head a little bit, so I just needed to get out of
As we all
town.
do.
Yeah, right? And sometimes, when you feel like you're freaking out, you need to, like, go to a quiet place. So I got in my car and I drove around the States for 3.5 months. And when I got back, I was working on this book that was really depressing. I was, like, doing all these drawings. And my partner was like, you're bumming me out, man. Like, the stuff you're reading is really dark. Because the book was kind of about people who deserve recognition. So I was reading stuff about, like, civil rights and women's issues and LGBTQ issues and trying to figure out who out there is pushing the ball forward. But I'd wake up at 4 a.m. and be like, Sarah, guess what? Lynchings, and she's like, dude, what? I haven't had my coffee yet. And it's like, but it was like really in my head quite a bit. And that was like 2015, I think. And she got me a gift certificate for a class for ceramics.
Oh, nice.
That's like a way to just put my energy somewhere else. And I fell in love with it and started teaching and doing production and this and that.
Nice.
And now we're here, just doing ceramics. It's cool.
So going back to the river. What inspires your sound? Because it's a very particular sound that we enjoy. But what inspired it?
The sound of the music?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think I was listening to a lot of David Bowie's Low. That's a big part of it. A lot of Bruce Springsteen. Lots of, like, I got obsessed with David Lynch's Dune. So, like, the sounds that happened, like the soundscapes that happen in there are pretty crazy. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's kind of all over the place. I listen to so much random shit
Stuff.
that one thing after another kind of led in there. I started reading about, like, folk music and where stories get told, like different concepts of language, like silver and gold. You can find the reference of silver and gold in so many different songs from like 1910 all the way up to now. So I thought it's interesting where you can take different sounds, like a bass sound or a keyboard sound, and smash them together and you get a different combination of things. And then on top of that, there's a guy, Christopher Bear, I think it's Chris Bear from Grizzly Bear. Might be Chris Taylor, one of the Chris's, said this thing. Somebody asked him the same kind of question, and he said, every time we make a record, I try to put a sound from every decade of the 20th century into the songs.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I thought was a fascinating idea of, like, this collage way of making music. So yeah, it kind of comes from that. It comes from, like, hip-hop. It comes from David Bowie. It comes from collage. Lots
Music
of, like,
is a
free
collage,
thought.
honestly.
No, for real. Oh yeah, but going back to you said Dune kind of inspired the sound as well.
Yeah.
We thought that your music sounded kind of cinematic. We're like, this should
Yes.
be in a movie.
You know what movie I thought of? You're probably gonna
Oh.
hate this.
No,
Twilight.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it? Well, okay. Radiohead's on the soundtrack of Twilight,
Yeah.
so like.
Yeah, their
don't
soundtracks
judge
were
it-
killing.
Don't judge it too
Yeah.
much, yeah.
Especially the second one. I was like, this needs to be on this soundtrack.
Yeah, didn't they have like Feist and the guy from Grizzly Bear, Ed Drost, on it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll have to go back and
There's
we'll have
to
there's
check.
a lot of good songs on that.
No, for
No,
real.
it's
We always
so-
listen to the soundtracks. It's so good.
They have St. Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
They have
Oh,
Bon
yeah.
Iver. They have Radiohead. Like everyone's in there. Muse. Oh yeah. I was wondering this one. What's your favorite song to play live? Or if you can pick one from To the River.
Oh.
If you could play it live.
Yeah, if you can play
Eventually-
live, which
Ooh.
one would you love to play?
The King of Lizards or Indecision.
Indecision.
Those are my two favorite ones. Those are so
Thank
good.
you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those would be really fun to play. And if we had a sax player, I would love to play To the River.
Did I
Yeah.
find a
Got
sax
it.
Oh Yeah, Jared Yee. Shout out Jared Yee if you want to play live. He played sax on the record, so he's a really sweetheart. He plays in a million different bands. Look, check him out, Jared Yee.
I'll look at it.
Great sax player.
So, You make music.
Mhm.
You do ceramics. You draw. You do
Mhm.
a lot of art. Which is like your favorite outlet?
Whatever one feels right at the moment.
Yeah.
I guess. Because they function as different things,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
I think ceramics is like a peaceful, mathematical practice. It's a lot of like, I used to be a cook. I used to work in kitchens, and it has this kind of thing where you forget who you are. You forget you're in your body and you're just doing the thing. It's kind of like playing live, where there's a series of moves you have to make which make the equation happen. And if you can get out of your way, those things happen really fast, so you can just be in this stream of consciousness thing. That's kind of what I like about all the practices. It's like wherever I'm at psychologically, one of those things does that job. Could be drawing, could be anything.
All right.
So yeah, it just depends on what the mood is.
Would you ever consider mixing two of your arts, like mixing ceramics with like your music?
Or,
Like make a
drawing,
ceramic
maybe.
piece inspired by your
A
album or
song
like
or
a song that you have in mind?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, years ago I was in this thing called the Royal Frog Ballet, and it was an outdoor theater troupe.
Okay.
So they made like large format puppets and farm advocacy and, you know, taking care of kids and mom, yeah, all this kind of stuff. It's like sort of social activism. If you know Bread and Puppet, or if you look up Bread and Puppet, somewhere in that zone. And there was a show we did where, because at the time I was a chef and also performing, the show was feeding the crowd. So we did a show about like the spring feast, and my role was to make the food the performance.
Oh, that's cool.
So I did 3 acts, and one of them was an egg eating competition. So I made an egg dish with all this stuff, and then we had the audience have an egg eating competition,
Oh, that's actually
which is really
cool.
fun. And I think we did 6 shows. Then there were like 150, 200 people each
Oh,
show.
wow.
Oh.
So there was a lot of eggs.
You're popping.
Yeah.
You must hate
Yeah, we
eggs
did-
now.
Right.
No, it was. I mean, eggs are beautiful. Eggs are the beautiful food, but it was fun. Just performance and food. How you, I like that thing where people mix stuff. I think I really like rock and roll a lot, but sometimes rock and roll just does one thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when it does it very well, it's really compelling. When it does it kind of like I'm not sure what I'm doing, then it sort of falls apart because there's nothing else there.
Yes.
Which I think is why I like bands like the Walkmen or Jonathan Fire Eater or something, where it's just very plain. There's no lights, there's no like fancy thing. It's just the rock and roll, and they do it so well. Yeah. And I think when you see bands that do more things, or like they have a show, that's really fun to see. So like in the case of Public Memory, when we do the show, we don't use any of the house lights. We bring our own lights. We set the thing up really, really tight, and we don't play to the audience. We play to each other, which makes it a different
I saw the
arrangement.
setup you posted. I was like, that's
really cool.
different
Yeah.
and cool.
It's a different way to perform, because I think sometimes performing this way, you lose what's happening behind
Yes,
you a little
For
bit.
sure.
And Rob and I are so tight, like our minds are so tight that it would feel weird to not play to him.
You
and
lose
vice
a
versa.
connection.
Yeah, a little bit.
And the crowd could be distracting too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I try to not. I think when I play live, I don't necessarily play with my face to the audience
Right.
much. I usually play with my back to the audience. I think part because it's distracting, and part because I'm really shy. Like it's hard to perform in that thing, especially when you catch somebody looking. And you're like, oh god, they're looking at me. Like,
Right.
Why is he looking at
I'm
me like
having
that?
such a good time, but well, that's and not anything negative, but I think,
It puts you in like a weird headspace too.
yeah, it's like it's vulnerable, and vulnerability is cool. But then also, like, if you're focusing on something else and also being vulnerable, sometimes it can be like, which one do I follow?
Yes.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I want to ask because we did a dive into album too.
Oh.
So you want to give us like a
Oh, we didn't dive in. Yeah.
Yeah,
I want
you
to know a
wanna-
little bit more about album
Yeah.
2.
What's coming up?
yep
Yeah, what's to come?
Oh gosh. Okay.
a lot.
Yeah. So I started off thinking, like, the first record was a lot about COVID, of course, because it's a COVID record. And one of the songs on there, I read an article about Val Kilmer and his daughter. When he got sick, his daughter tried to convince him to go to LA to get treatment for his cancer, his throat cancer. And he said no, and he got healed, like in the desert, and then he ended up getting a tracheotomy anyway, and it was this very strange relationship between father and daughter. And death was involved, or the threat of death.
Mm-hmm.
And the next record, I was like, well, I kind of want to make it about what's the outcome of this. Like, what's the death life of that? What's the 50-50? Rather than, like, the stuff in between those two halves. So then I started, like, poking around at, like, different sounds and things that would tell that story. And then built it from there. So it's darker and it's prettier. And it feels more cohesive. And it's dancier.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, it's called The Melody of Strangers.
Ooh.
And there's like some off-time signature stuff, and just trying to like make it poppy while still kind of being confusing.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
That could be a fun mix.
We'll see.
I have a very, very, very serious question. I hope you're prepared for it. Talking about pop. What's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
I'm a sucker for 1989.
Oh, there we go.
I fucking love
Her
1989.
best pop album?
And what's the I have like song title blindness. What's the song where it's like I got that red lipstick
Style.
Yeah, that's the shit. Because the way she syncopates the lyrics in the chorus is so good.
Yes.
And the guitar that happens at the beginning, that like that's.
Yeah.
But her, as much as I hate to say this,
Say it.
her and Jack Antonoff as a team.
Yes! No, we hate
it, we hate it, right?
Yeah.
We hate Jack Antonoff.
I-
Oh my God,
I
we
don't-
hate Jack Antonoff.
I
No, we
just-
do.
Yeah, I don't necessarily hate him.
We hate
I
when he
just
does the pop
he's like
industry.
really, really shticky, and like what he did to oh God, what's her name?
Lord.
Yeah, thank you. That record.
Well,
It's like-
melodrama.
Tread lightly.
Melodrama is when they peak.
Melodrama? Okay, Melodrama's
But
a
the one where
masterpiece.
she's like,
Solar Power?
yeah,
Her
that
new
one, the gold and the thing.
Well,
It's a grower.
it's
When
a
you
grower.
first hear it, it's
I
like...
might have like yucked the yum too quick, but
No, but
No,
yeah.
we know what you
we
mean.
we
He-
hate Jack Antonoff. We talk shit about
He has
him
habits
every
in
day.
music that he keeps redoing with every artist,
Yeah.
and it all sounds the same.
If you
Yeah.
listen to Taylor's new album,
like we did,
we hated it.
really,
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it.
Don't, just don't.
There's a lyric that says, everyone's a sexy baby.
Well, actually, that's a deeper lyric. No, I actually looked into it. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
tell
the
us.
sexy baby thing. Like, it's like older women, or not older women, but like women like our age will pretend to be like baby, like Britney Spears used to do when she was like younger.
Oh,
So
wow.
everyone's like
Baby
a sexy
voice.
But,
baby.
yeah, but still, like, sexy baby.
But in the context of the song, it's
Cat
kind of like...
eye, strong enough to kill a man. I'm like, girl, why do you do that? But anyways, if you listen to the album,
the lyrics are really like... not
and
that
then
I'll
listen
listen
to
to
Melodrama, they sound
Oh, they have very
so
similar things,
similar.
like in the
it's like he copied and
instrumentals.
pasted the.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a trick. It's like he feels
Yeah.
like he's doing one trick. However, like on Folklore, because he helped produce some of that with what's his name, Aaron Destier from
Yes,
National.
Aaron, yeah.
There's some sounds on that that are like, whoa,
Whoa, incredible.
that record is great.
Life changing.
Yeah, it's so good. And then Bleachers, the last record he did. There's that one song about. Oh God, he did it with like Bruce Springsteen played on it. And
Oh, yeah.
it's like
I don't
really,
know what the
really
name-
big. It's like wow. It starts off like really psychedelic. That song is really great. But then he does like the I don't know, just kind of dorky Bruce Springsteen ripoff stuff, and it's like I don't know.
done.
I feel like he just does too much and he needs to calm down, find his own like...
I feel like
thing
he needs to
work
take a
on.
break and just
Yeah.
go away for
Yeah, take a break, take a
No,
break.
he
Yeah,
needs to
yeah.
take a
Go away
break.
for
Yeah.
10
Constantly
years.
working with everyone every second.
No,
and
every
it's
time
like-
I see he's working with an artist, I'm like, leave her
We're
alone.
like, it's gonna be so
leave her
good.
alone, please.
It's
I
always
beg you.
a female singer.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
Did you see what they did? Well, with Lana Del Rey too.
Oh yeah.
I didn't hear that record because I was kind of done with Jack.
Yeah.
It's like okay.
It's like she has a couple of songs that are good, but they weren't from her previous records, like Thunder and
Oh right, right.
What's the other one?
That ended up on that record?
It ended up on that record. Well, which one are you talking about? Norman fucking Rockwell?
No.
The next one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So those songs were from other records, so they're kind of good. But the rest sound like there's songs that sound like from the Lord record, so it's like I don't know. They all sound the same.
They're like Antonophized.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's making the artists like lose their originality.
Yeah.
I feel like. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know. They're all the same now.
Yeah.
There is some interesting thing. My friend sent it to me because I was like hating on Jack Antonoff, and he like sent me a video, and it was Jack Antonoff in his studio, and he had this little like tape echo called a copycat, which is like you know what a tape echo is, where the tape goes around and it plays all the playheads, and he was shaking it and it made the craziest sound, and I'm like, okay,
maybe
you can find some cool sounds, like all right,
every once in a while.
I'm not like it's not like 100% like oh fucking Jack Antonoff,
but 90%. 90%.
Okay. Now it's more annoyed. You're like,
Yeah.
just please go away.
He's kind of good. Just take a 10-year break and then come back.
Yeah.
He really needs to dig inside himself and like create something different. I feel
Yeah, be
like. 'Cause
challenged.
He does
like,
have the talent. Like
go to a
he's
different
very
place.
talented.
Like,
yeah.
make music in like Spain. See what that's like.
Oh.
No, don't make him touch Rosalia. Get away from her. Get away from her. But yeah, do you have any more questions for Mike?
We have
One question.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Sure.
Lena's question.
we need context.
We need context for
Because,
this.
okay, the first time we met you, I'm like, that's literally Seth Rogen.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? You do the ceramics, like,
Yeah.
you're giving Seth Rogen right now, like, now Seth Rogen, you know what I
Wow,
mean?
okay.
So, that's a compliment.
No,
not
I'm fine.
sure.
Yeah, no, I'm not
Okay.
yucking it.
Here's the
We love
thing.
Seth Rogen.
We love Seth Rogen.
Shout out.
Love you, Seth.
Anyways, here's the question. What's your favorite Seth Rogen movie? If you
Oh,
have
God. Whoa. I actually don't like his movies that much.
one. Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I find him to be like,
Very, like,
God.
sexist.
He's like Jack Antonoff for
racist.
you.
it's
A
just
little
like
bit.
a little like, oh, you're Seth Rogen doing Seth Rogen.
Yeah,
he
he
does
does the same
over and
thing.
over.
That's
Oh,
what
he
she
is?
loves about.
Well, no,
Same
that's not
acting.
what
Wait,
I
wait can I ask, what's your favorite Seth Rogen movie?
Oh, that's tough. Maybe Pineapple Express or This Is the End.
This is I thought you were gonna say that.
What do you think about what's his name? The guy from that said Pineapple Express. What's the dude's name?
James Franco.
Yeah, that guy. What do you think
We
about
don't like him.
him? No dice.
Isn't he a predator?
It is.
Yeah.
We're like
That's what's out in the news.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
we don't
Actually,
like him.
I don't
Plus,
like Pineapple Express. Why did I say that?
You're canceled.
I'm
Lynn.
canceled.
She's problematic.
Well, that's an interesting question, right? It's like, if the artist does something bad,
Separating
Can
the
you
art from the
separate it?
artist. That's the thing. Can you? Well, I feel like it depends on the situation.
depends, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'll listen to some people that were canceled or had like allegations brought up against them. I'm like, I can never listen to them again. But then I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe I could listen to this artist. It's like weird. You know what I mean?
yeah. A friend of mine was saying that about Michael Jackson.
And it depends on the
Oh yeah,
connection.
Michael
you-
Jackson's a tough one.
Yeah.
I
Everyone-
can't anymore.
You can't.
I love Michael Jackson.
Really?
Like,
I hate
grew
Michael
up on Michael
Jackson.
Jackson. So
you
like,
hate Michael Jackson?
I used to have like an obsession with him as a child. So
Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
was weird to feel that kind of stuff. So I'm
No,
like,
but why is every kid obsessed with Michael Jackson? I used
It's
to
the
be a
Michael
nanny,
Jackson effect.
and like the kid, she's like, I'm gonna go to heaven to marry Michael Jackson.
I don't know.
Like-
That was the first record my mom ever bought me, Thriller on vinyl, when I was like 6 or 7, and I was like, "Oh my god, like this guy is
the
the
shit,
king.
man.
He's got a tiger. He's got a tiger. How cool is that?" You know, it's like, but I don't know.
I
just
don't know.
Can't.
After everything, I feel like,
Can't.
no. But I was talking to her because what if you have like a deeper connection to the
Music.
music than you
'Cause
do? Because
I
when
feel
you're
like-
listening to something, sometimes you don't even think about.
Yeah,
who's
most of the
performing
time
it.
I don't think about the artist. I think
Yeah.
about the music or what I like about it or how it applies to my life. But then sometimes if the artist is too much
Yeah, it's
involved
too
with
much
the
in-
music,
like,
or
you know.
too much about it, it's like you can't
Do you
separate.
do you find that like, because y'all dig into artists, do you find that if you meet the artist, does that change your opinion about the music?
No, some of well,
Or you really like
Sometimes.
read things or see video and you're like,
wait,
Yeah, 100%. It could
Yeah.
change my opinion about the artist. Maybe not about the music, but definitely about the artist.
100%.
oh, so you can, if you have a negative opinion about an artist, not negative, but like less than positive.
You're icky about him.
Yeah. But then you can still listen to the music.
The
and-
1975.
The 1975 we used to
Like
hit,
Matty
we
Healy.
don't like Matty. Well,
Well, he-
Matty Healy,
anyways,
shout out, come to
shout
the
out Matty
show.
Healy, but,
He was eating
with
Rob
Matty Healy,
steak on stage last night.
Okay.
Oh, I heard.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was some crazy stuff. Matty Healy, he's done some things that are really questionable, said some things he probably shouldn't, and so like I consider him to be not a great person, but I'll
Yeah.
still listen to the 1975. So it's like, you know,
Yeah.
that's the kind
Case
of
by case.
Can you do that? Can you separate the art from the artist?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I
Depends.
think it's kind of depends. But then also like I'll like watch an interview with somebody and be like, oh,
Yeah.
like do I like them?
No.
Could I? I'm not sure.
No, that's
But
what
it's
I was
like
saying.
full on subjective, because you know, like I'll meet people that one day I'll really like them, the next day I won't like them, and then I'll see them again and be like, I actually really like you. So I don't know. Like
Yeah, it's a
It's
weird
a tricky
thing.
thing. Yeah.
I
I
don't
also feel like I'm fickle, you know.
But yeah, like I said, I feel like it's like a, the connection with the music for me.
Yeah.
If I really like the song, I won't think like, oh, he has some allegations over there, you know.
Yeah, but the thing with connections to music, sometimes you'll be in like a bad place and listen to music, and then later in life you can't listen to that music ever again. Do you guys feel that ever?
Yeah.
Because it reminds you too much of another
Of a
time.
trauma,
Yeah.
like a trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
it weird how
Or-
that can happen?
Like the 19,
Yeah.
like the 1975, 1989. I think of a specific moment of my life, and I can never, like, I can listen to it, but it brings me back to that, and I'm like, I don't want to live that again, you know?
Do you ever use music in like as a tool? Like, okay, so I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Say
I
I'm
want to
feeling-
cry. Let me
Yeah,
listen
exactly.
to this. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly that.
Every time. Every time.
What's your go-to for?
crying?
Yeah.
Lana.
Yeah,
Lana
Lana
Del
Del Rey, yeah.
Radiohead.
Radiohead, yeah.
And
Me
it's
too.
the very specific songs.
Yeah.
Or is
Phoebe
it like-
Bridgers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh God, yes. I was crying last time. Remember to Phoebe, and she was on there. And she was like, "Oh no, she's going."
There's some duet she did. I can't remember the guy's name. It's a guy and his wife, and it's The Killer on piano, and it's
Killer.
like two grand pianos, and then they
It's
go from The
beautiful.
Killer into the sound. You know that? It's like
No.
a 10.5 minute long recording.
No,
It's really, really good.
I gotta listen to that.
We'll listen to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, it's hard to listen to, but
Phoebe, come
We'll
on the
cry
show.
later.
Yeah,
No,
exactly,
When
yeah.
we're sad, we'll listen to it.
No.
Me and her, we get sad at the same time, so.
Sometimes I'm sad.
Oh, it's the opposite.
It's
yeah,
the opposite.
that's
Sometimes I'm sad and I'm like,
And
and
it
she's like,
works.
whoa, 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 and then she goes, I'm like, it's time to be a clown.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's your go-to crying music?
I think it's that. Emotional motion sickness for a long time was like that.
Have you heard Moon Song?
Moon song?
That's from her,
Her
latest
newest,
album.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Oh, that one, it's like, I call that.
that one hit the right spot.
That's a doormat song. You know,
Yes.
if you're a doormat, you listen to
Yeah.
that song, yeah. Oof.
That or like there's some Radiohead songs or Tom York songs that I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
Thumb York? No, but
No,
wait, you know we call it Thumb
We
York?
call him Thumb York.
Thumb York because he's so small.
Well,
because his name
because his
starts
name
with
is-
Z.
yeah. Well, but now that you say it,
But
yes.
now
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, Thumb York.
So I don't know. It's complicated. I think if it's in
It
a
is.
private setting,
I don't want to
then
be famous.
it's not cool. Yeah. No. It's like.
This seems like a trap when you're famous. You can't get out of
It,
the
it,
cage.
it feels like, well, I don't know what being famous feels like, but it feels like you're an animal at a zoo.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard for people that get famous really young.
Mm-hmm.
It's
too, you
traumatizing
know?
because they say
Like
they
Aaron
age
Carter.
mentally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Aaron Carter just
I know.
died.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Aaron Carter.
But I also think about
Yeah.
like, you know, the Radiohead, when did they get famous? They were like kids, like 18, 19,
Yeah.
20, something like that. So what is that like? Just to be
Crazy.
trapped.
But it feels like these days people are getting famous younger, like every single day, and like I
Like
just
TikTok,
can't
the
comprehend
TikTok
like,
effect.
that kind of thing.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think about music on TikTok?
In what regard?
Like,
making
what it's done to music.
Yeah, what it's done to music? Because I feel like it's
It
done
has
a
an
lot of
effect.
damage.
Yeah.
I think it's unfortunate, but I also think that's coming from the perspective of somebody who didn't grow up with TikTok.
I didn't grow up.
So I wonder if like artists now who are like trying to make a impression, that maybe it's the only way to get ears on your music.
Yeah.
Especially given that the record companies putting out records is incredibly difficult. And I talked to a friend of mine who's an agent and manager, And I was asking about Blockbillion or whatever. And he said, well, you know, like most agents, they look at how many plays you have on Spotify and if you have music tagged to any videos on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to a show and see if you're any good. So even just the idea, like when I saw you guys at the Kill the Chat show, it's like the idea that you were at that show seeing music that you care about is impressive. Because that doesn't really happen that often. You know?
We feel like TikTok's like a one-hit wonder machine because people will get like this like slice of fame from it for one song, and people will use that song all
And
the
then
time.
they go, like,
and then they try to
the
release
fake-
something else after, and no one wants to hear
No,
about it.
and they also get the fame, the money, and they get the tours, and then they go on tour with their full album release, right?
And it's completely
and
empty.
everyone, no,
Oh, they
it's
only
full.
know- oh, it's full, but they only know that one
know
song.
that song from TikTok, and then the whole crowd is dead the whole time because they don't know it, any other song.
Well, like look at Charlie Puth, right?
We don't like Charlie.
Yeah, for sure. Whatever anybody thinks about him, right? He had that one song, whatever song that was hot. What was his big hit?
I don't know his music.
He had some big hit, and it was like everywhere on TikTok and all this stuff. And then he started doing all that Instagram stuff, like, can I make...
Oh,
That's a song.
I don't even want to hear about it.
I'm traumatized.
Right? But
He's
then
like,
he
"What
goes...
is this?" And then he makes it into a song.
But what's wild about him, though, is that, like, he's got perfect pitch. And he knows how to play. So, given the exposure, he has enough time in front of the camera to prove his skill level.
Yeah.
And then people start paying attention. So he's coming at it from, like, directly through the TikTok conduit, which I think is interesting. I don't know if it's good, but I think it's
It's not
interesting.
good. I feel like his music,
very
even this is what we talk about all the time.
Yeah, he reminds me of like a product. Him,
Yeah.
Harry Styles, who else? Sometimes Taylor Swift.
Taylor now. I'm sorry, Taylor.
So y'all don't mess with Harry or Taylor?
I used
like
to like-
pop music writ
Well, no,
large?
We do like them, but
Okay,
it's
there's,
like
like,
nowadays,
levels to
like
it,
the
yeah.
new albums that they're releasing, it feels like
It's
TikTok
all just,
music
like-
that they're doing just to get like
It's just a
TikToks
product.
out.
Yeah.
What do y'all look for in a record? Like when you hear an album or you hear
Something I
music?
like.
If it creates like an atmosphere or a story or like embarks a feeling from me,
You
or
know
if I can
what's
see the
a
craftsmanship.
perfect explanation, like example of that? Tranquility Base.
Oh, do you listen to Arctic Monkeys?
I don't, but my friend is desperately trying to get me to listen to him.
Listen to Tranquility Base.
That's my
Hotel
favorite
Casino. It's a
album.
concept album. You could talk more about it because it's your favorite album.
This is my TED Talk. It's my favorite album ever. It's about a hotel in the moon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a perfect example for that because it creates this atmosphere and you feel like you're in it, you know?
And it's a complete thought. Like the whole album is like a
It's a story.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a linear story.
No, it's not.
It's just
but
like,
but it gives
like
you like
elements.
pieces.
It's almost like peeking into the rooms of the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
It's really good.
Yeah.
Do you listen to full albums? Do you find
Yes,
yourself listening to
yes.
more
And
full
not
albums
on
than
shuffle.
singles?
No shuffle. No, it's nice to listen to a full album. I'll typically put on a full album, but
Yeah.
I do make like playlists and stuff like that. But like
After
there's
listening to
something
the
about
album
a full
though.
album. Yeah.
After listening to the full album though.
Yeah.
And then I used to do this thing where it's like you listen to the full album and then I find like 2 or 3 songs that I kill, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the next 2 songs that I find that and I kill those, and then eventually work my way back to listening to the whole
Yeah.
album.
Yeah. But I feel like that's like a weird way to do it. I feel like nowadays people listen to the album one time, and that's it.
And then they'll add it to their playlist, and then they'll
No,
just
I-
listen to the.
they don't
Oh,
even
they don't even.
do that.
What do
I
you
feel
mean?
like.
People just listen to it once? I feel like people only listen to the hits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you
the
think
singles.
do you think the art of a full album is gone? Like the
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't think it's completely
No, it's
gone.
not gone,
you
but it's like-
it's there. I feel like nothing
or
is
the
ever
audience
completely
is
gone.
like not there for it?
There's always an audience for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I wouldn't say it's gone.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's
I agree.
lower, like less people gravitate
People-
towards that kind of thing.
People like have like what do you call it? Like low.
Attention deficit disorder?
Yes. So they can only listen to one song or
Yeah.
2 songs, like an EP.
No, people
Yeah.
skip
You
through
know?
songs. You know what
They'd
I
be
mean?
like 30 seconds. I like it, like, and then next one, and then I even listen
No,
to the
sometimes
full
I catch
thing.
myself doing that though.
You do.
Sometimes.
It shows.
When you go to see shows, do you see the whole band? Do you see like the whole show?
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. Do you leave a show
Sometimes.
if they're
I mean,
bad?
if it's not
Yeah.
Not even if they're bad.
But if you're tired,
Yeah, or
Or if
like
you
I don't
heard
want to
what you want
stand
to
there.
hear.
Yeah.
Or like, okay,
I
cool,
get it. Yeah. But if I like the band, I'm not gonna leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we ever left a show early? I feel like we've stayed for. Wait, we left Pine Grove
Oh
early.
my god. That's
There's this one
another
band called
story.
Pine Grove, and we just couldn't stand it.
Why did you leave early?
I don't know.
That's all the songs on the same.
Well,
That's unfortunate.
It's like a white people music.
it's just like I don't know. No, it was high school music, but like these people are out in the crowd, they're just standing there while these people are playing. They're not moving.
Literally, I was
or
so
not-
scared. I turned around. There was not a person of color. I'm like, where am I?
Do you feel like trapped?
I feel like they're gonna kill me. If I speak Spanish right now, I'm done. But yeah, it was boring. We were like, let's go home.
Yeah, it's weird when that happens. And then you see everybody sticking around. It's like, what?
No, literally.
It's just like them sitting like this.
No, they're not moving. Like the whole crowd was just like.
But
that
is such a vibe. Like almost every show that I've played
Maybe
or been
we're
to,
the crazy ones. Now that I think about it.
No, but go on,
Like
what
I
were
said,
you saying?
like I said about Kid the Shat, right? Like everybody there was like stone cold, and then y'all were like, yeah,
No.
and it got the whole half of that room just jamming.
Oh, that's true. That
That's
did
embarrassing.
happen. It's not embarrassing. I had fun.
I think it's
I had so much
amazing.
fun, yeah.
I think what y'all do is incredible.
Yeah, we always do that every
Yes.
show because we were at that show, the boring one we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like we were dancing, everyone else was just standing, and we're like, we can't stand this. We gotta get out of here.
No,
Like,
we're
when
like,
people can't
"Woo!"
join in on the fun or like do anything. It's like, why are you there?
We were like that at
Yeah.
Mitski too.
Like some people
remember?
are just observers. I feel like rather than
Yeah,
participants.
I feel like that too.
But I feel like I'm more of a participant when I go to shows. Like
Somebody
I wanna,
asked us like on tour. They were like, okay, well, is it weird when people stand back from the stage, right?
I feel like it's like people get shy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The person who asked had this impression that like they maybe weren't that into it, or there was like some kind of divide or something.
It's like it's
like,
because
maybe they're just
we've
shy.
had that.
We've had this experience a lot because like we end up going to shows a little too early, so we'll like stand back a little bit, and they're like, come closer to the stage.
But then
and we're like,
I don't want to. The thing for me, I think I don't want to look crazy, and they're gonna think I'm like obsessed or like I want to be in the front, you know. So that's why you stay in the back a little.
But
bit.
some people don't want to be seen, so I feel like they like to
Yeah,
be in the back.
they don't wanna be
or, like, they
perceived.
don't want to be the
Yeah,
participant, like I said.
yeah. Shyness is real.
And it's real, guys. It's a disease. Thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you for
a lot
having me.
of
Thank you for
fun.
asking.
Thank you for being the
It's been
first
nice.
one
In person.
in person.
I feel lucky. I feel
interview.
like I feel fancy.
Fancy.
Ooh.
Ooh. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.